Part 59. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 581. Ye Chen said, "Everyone, your goal is to only enter the red flame plane to hunt for treasures. I heard that Ye Chen's woman also has a very good system. Should we join forces to kill people and seize treasures? If we act together, I think we all have a chance." Many of the 20 or 30 strong men were moved. The two 8-star level experts both opened their eyes, and one of them said, "This is a good proposal. Let's unite and distribute it according to strength and contribution. In addition to the system, they must have other treasures." Another 8-star level expert said, "If everyone agrees, just stand up. If you don't agree, don't force it." Soon about 15 strong men stood up. As long as they can obtain treasures and enter the red flame treasure killing, it is no problem for them. Ye Chen's eyes flashed with cold light. Ye Chen won't do anything to the strong men who simply enter the red flame plane and want to get some treasures. He won't be polite to the guys who want to get the treasures by killing Luo Hanjian and the others. The immortal killing sword formation. With a thought, Ye Chen released the 4 immortal killing swords quietly. The other strong men were shocked. They felt like they were in the world of swords instantly. Countless swords locked on them from all directions. It seems that as long as they make any movement, those swords will cut them into pieces. The red flame plane is now our territory in the abyss plane. You still want to enter our territory in the abyss plane to make a profit? You are really brave. Since you want to enter the red flame plane, I will take you there. All the benefits gained in the red flame plane will belong to our abyss plane. Resist and die." Ye Chen's overbearing voice sounded in the ears of the other strong men. At the same time, Ye Chen's momentum exploded with all his strength. 9-star strong man. It seems like it's not just the early stage of 9 stars. 20 or 30 strong men were trembling, even 2 8-star level strong men were the same. They all only have the cultivation level of the early 8-star stage. "Senior, we will try our best." "Senior, we don't want to compete with the abyss plane." Everyone spoke one after another, but they didn't dare to resist at all. "Receive." Ye Chen easily received them all into Xuanhuan Eternal City. "Maybe we can recruit some subordinates." Ye Chen was thinking in his heart. Those guys who want to kill Luo Hanjian and the others, Ye Chen will naturally not let them go. The rest will give them some benefits, maybe make them work hard. Strong people who can walk between planes are still very strong. Soon Ye Chen approached Tianmen Pass. In fact, there are not many strong men guarding the abyss plane at Tianmen Pass. There is only one early 8-star strong man and 2 7-star level strong men. The problem is that the abyss plane is so powerful that strong men from other planes dare not force their way through. Go. With a thought, Ye Chen's immortal killing sword formation instantly trapped these 3 powerful men from the abyss plane. "Who?" "We are from the abyss plane." The strong man in the early stage of 8 stars said sternly. He was not too afraid of being trapped by Ye Chen's formation. The strength of the abyss plane was there. "Receive." Ye Chen's mid-9-star strength forced all 3 of them into Xuanhuan Eternal City. Once inside, Xiao Yan would naturally let them confine their cultivation obediently. The checkpoint leading to the red flame plane should have strong men from the abyss plane. Ye Chen secretly thought. He quickly passed the Tianmen Pass, and not long after he arrived at the Pond of 10,000 Bones, it turned out that there were strong men from the abyss plane guarding the Pond of 10,000 Bones, not allowing strong men from other planes to pass. "Receive." "Receive." There are a total of 5 levels relatively close to the red flame plane. It took Ye Chen a while to visit them all, and captured a total of more than a dozen strong men from the abyss plane. However, there are only 2 8-star level experts. There are 3 places where the most powerful warriors only have 7-star perfect cultivation, but their combat power has reached the early 8-star stage. With so many strong men dispatched, the Abyss Plane should know that Bias and the others are in the hands of Hanjian and the others. Ye Chen secretly thought. He arrived near the Red Flame Plane as quickly as possible. The space between the planes outside the Red Flame Plane is also guarded by strong men from the Abyss Plane, including a middle 8-star strong man, an early 8-star strong man, and 3 7-star level strong men. There's something wrong with this intensity. If something happens to Bias and the others here, why do they need to go to war in the Abyss? Ye Chen frowned secretly. There are 4 8-star immortal level strong men outside, and there are also strong men who have no cultivation level, but their combat power has reached the early 8-star stage. There must have been many powerful people entering the Red Flame Plane. How many strong men are there in total in the Abyss Plane? Ye Chen now knows more clearly that there are more than 100 8-star level experts, and the total number of 8-star power experts is more than 300. Could it be that the Red Flame Plane has now attracted 1/10 of the 8-star level experts from the Abyss Plane? Is it possible that there are strong people in the Abyss Plane who suspect that there is a 10-star level system here? Ye Chen secretly thought. He felt that this possibility was not low. It is possible that the speed at which he and Luo Hanjian improved had aroused the suspicion of the top bosses. Receive. Soon outside the Xian Plane, several strong men from the Abyss Plane were also collected by Ye Chen. With his current strength, he can catch them easily. Wives, I'm back. Ye Chen took a deep breath and quickly entered the Red Flame Plane. You can bring out your mid-9-star cultivation, which is good. Ye Chen's eyes lit up when he felt it. The Red Flame Plane itself is not very strong. He was originally worried that his cultivation level was too high and that he would not be able to fully display his strength in the Red Flame Plane. It seems that his 9-star level skills, physique, bloodline, and the late 9-star Xuxian sword have brought benefits to Ye Chen, allowing him to break through the limit. Call. With the strength of the mid-Juxing, Ye Chen was very fast. In just a few hours, Ye Chen was close to July Universe. Yes, July Universe is still growing at a rapid rate. Ye Chen had a smile on his face. It is estimated that during this period, Luo Hanjian and the others have killed powerful men for July Universe to devour and digest. It turns out that the July Universe is the worst among the 6 supreme universes on the Red Flame Plane. Today, the July Universe is only slightly smaller than the Hongmeng Universe. Ranked 3rd. According to July Universe's growth momentum, it won't take long to surpass Hongmeng Universe. Boom. Boom. Outside July Universe, many powerful people are bombarding July Universe with all their strength. Among them was a strong man with 8-star perfect cultivation and 9-star initial strength. There are 10 or 20 strong men with 8-star level strength. There are even more immortal level experts. There are more than 100,000 strong men attacking July Universe in total. However, most of them only have cultivation levels below the 4-star immortal level. Under their full bombardment, July Universe was under great pressure. However, it is not that easy for them to destroy the July Universe. Luo Hanjian and the others are very strong. Especially Luo Hanjian also has a plain token. Each of them can actually fully display their strength. They should have special treasures. Ye Chen secretly thought. Under normal circumstances, if a strong man with 9-star initial strength enters the Red Flame Plane, it is absolutely impossible for him to exert his 9-star initial level strength. This is good news for Ye Chen. The treasure he brought here will not be his by then. Hanjian, I'm back. Miss me? Ye Chen's voice sounded in Luo Hanjian's mind, and Luo Hanjian was stunned for an instant in July Universe. Husband, don't enter the Red Flame Plane. The enemies in the Red Flame Plane are very powerful now. Luo Hanjian immediately replied to Ye Chen. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 582. Hanjian, I have arrived outside the July Universe. I now have the strength of the mid-Juxing. Ye Chen said through the eternal mortal cable. Luo Hongjian was stunned. Although Ye Chen's strength was good when he left, he was only at the late 8-star level. Why have we reached the mid 9-star stage? You must know that the higher you go, the more difficult it becomes. It takes a lot of time to improve to a small level. In Luo Hongjian's estimation, it would be good for Ye Chen to have 8-star perfect strength now, even as long as Ye Chen doesn't have any problems now. Husband, you didn't lie to me. Luo Hongjian said in disbelief. Hongjian, what are you lying to? I'll talk to you later. Ye Chen said with a smile. In July universe, Luo Hongjian quickly told En Langxiu and the others about the situation. En Langxiu and the others were extremely excited. With strong strength and a lot of chips on hand, Luo Hongjian and the others can actually hold on for a long time, but there is no guarantee that they will not be able to hold on for a long time. Ye Chen replied that he still had the strength of the mid 9 stars, and the problems they were worried about were easily solved. I just knew that my brother-in-law would be fine, he. Well, we have to trust our husband. Luo Yudi and the others talked a lot. Outside July universe, Ye Chen got closer, and then he said in his mind, System, summon that guy with the initial strength of Juxing. Good host. The system starts summoning in the next second. The distance was close, and the target was bombarding July universe with all its strength, and its resistance was weak. Although the target fought with all its strength, it still disappeared in the blink of an eye. When he reappeared, he had already arrived in Xuanhuan Eternal City. Boom! Boom! A powerful aura erupted from Ye Chen's body, and he turned into the appearance of Liang Tianzun. At the same time, Ye Chen caused Xuanhuan Eternal City to emit a powerful aura. Hiss! A large number of strong men present in the abyss were extremely horrified. Fierce Sun Heavenly Lord. He is a strong man from the light plane. A strong man with an 8-star immortal level in the abyss was extremely shocked. Ye Chen flew close. Everyone, will you resist or surrender? Ye Chen said domineeringly. If you resist, I will send him on his way. If you surrender, I will still spare his life. We can also choose to escape, if you think you are faster than me. Among the other powerful people present in the abyss plane, the most powerful one is an 8-star peak level figure. He stood up and saluted, Lord Liang, the Skeleton Palace has a conflict with you. There is no need for you to target the other strong men in the abyss like this, right? How about we work together? Ye Chen said coldly, if it weren't for the interference of other forces in your abyss plane, I would have taken over the Skeleton Palace long ago. Does it have anything to do with you? You can survive until then, but you must pay a certain price. Now, obediently confine your cultivation. I only give you 10 breaths of time. Many powerful people present in the abyss plane immediately began to discuss secretly. They have about 28-star level experts, and the total number of immortal level experts reaches 100,000. In terms of strength, they are no weaker than a mid 9-star powerhouse or a late 9-star powerhouse. But there is no way that 2 top 9-star level experts from the light plane are dispatched without their subordinates. In addition, now that the strong men from the light plane have come, the benefits here are probably no longer shared by them. Surrender, as long as we don't resist, Liang Heavenly Lord won't kill us. Why did the strong man from the light plane come here? Some of the most powerful men in the abyss quickly made a decision, and they quickly restricted their cultivation. Paying some price, they believe they can survive. The relationship between the light plane and the abyss plane is not harmonious now, but it is not that bad either. They did not doubt Ye Chen's identity at all. A strong person in the mid 9-star stage, and a strong person in the late 9-star stage. How many planes can have such a lineup? Receive. The strong men from the abyss plane imprisoned their cultivation, and Ye Chen quickly brought them all into the Xuanhuan Eternal City. It takes no time at all to get it done. Thank you to the plane of light. Ye Chen had a smile on his face. There are so many strong men in the abyss plane, if he takes action forcefully, many of them will run away. You must know that there are about 28 star level experts among them. A strong person in the late 9-star stage is only as strong as 5 strong people in the late 8-star stage. Ben. Ben. Ye Chen's tyrannical power quickly added an extra layer of seals to many powerful people in the abyss plane. Comfortable. Soon Ye Chen entered the interior of July Universe, and he really felt the familiar atmosphere of July Universe. Elder brother. Xiao Li's joyful voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind. Xiao Li, work hard and grow up. Ye Chen said with a smile. He said that the dozen guys who had been arrested earlier and wanted to kill Luo Hongjian and the others came outside. In an instant, Ye Chen had them all killed. Boom. The entire July Universe shook, and the growth rate of July Universe suddenly became faster. Among these dozen strong men, there are 2 8-star level ones, and each of the others has a 7-star level cultivation. Devouring and digesting their power, July Universe can grow a lot. When July Universe becomes stronger, it can drive the entire red flame plane to become stronger. Thank you brother, he. Xiao Li said excitedly. Luo Hongjian and the others are capable of killing strong men, but some of them don't dare to kill them. The strong men in the abyss plane they capture are their bargaining chips, and killing each one will result in one loss. If the strong men from other planes were killed, Luo Hongjian and the others would be worried about which plane they would offend. Such a situation has resulted in July Universe now barely maintaining a high-speed improvement. Husband. Brother-in-law. Luo Hongjian and the other 6 girls appeared next to Ye Chen, and they shouted excitedly. The time that Ye Chen left was actually not that long, but compared to before, it was relatively long. Wives, come and give me a hug. Ye Chen said with a smile. He hugged and kissed Luo Hongjian and the others one by one. After a while, Ye Chen led Luo Hongjian and the others into the Yanhuang Eternal City. The battle lasted for half a day. Husband, where are the strong men outside the abyss plane? They are very strong. Luo Hongjian said. Ye Chen took Luo Hongjian and the others to the 100,000 strong men in the abyss plane. He gathered 100,000 strong men from the abyss plane. Everyone, welcome to the red flame plane. I am Ye Chen. You wanted to see me, and now you do. Are you happy? Ye Chen said with a smile. 100,000 strong men from the abyss plane stared at Ye Chen. All of them couldn't believe it. Aren't those who captured them strong men from the light plane? Why is it Ye Chen? You are Liang Tianzun, you cannot be Ye Chen. Can Ye Chen have a mid-9-star cultivation level? There is a powerful way in the abyss plane. He didn't want to believe it. If it falls into the hands of Liang Tianzun, they will have a high probability of surviving by then. If it falls into the hands of Ye Chen, their chance of survival will be greatly reduced. You will know who I am. Ye Chen said softly. As he spoke, his eyes fell on the strong man with 9-star initial strength. Tell me, what did you use to enable you to fully display your strength here? Ye Chen said softly. Delusion. The other party said sternly, no matter you are Liang Tianzun or Ye Chen, you can't kill me. My father is Lei Yuan Emperor, with peak 9-star cultivation. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 583. Emperor Lei Yuan is the strongest person in the abyss plane. Looking at all planes, he is also one of the top strong people. According to the information obtained by Ye Chen, Emperor Lei Yuan has a powerful thunder system. It can explode into a perfect 9-star attack. The son of Supreme Lei Yuan? Very good. Ye Chen looked at the other party with a smile. With the strength of the Abyss Plane and the strength of Emperor Lei Yuan, few strong men from the plane dare to offend him, but Ye Chen is not afraid of offending Emperor Lei Yuan. He has killed many powerful people in the Abyss Plane. The masters of the Skeleton Palace died in his hands, and their corpses are now in the Yanhuang Eternal City. Whoever you are, it's best to let us go. Even if you are a strong man in the light plane, offending my father will be extremely troublesome for you. The other party said in a deep voice. Ye Chen said softly, when you get to my territory, do whatever I ask you to do. Delusion. The other party sneered, he didn't believe that Ye Chen really dared to do anything to him. Ye Chen smiled half-heartedly and said, I'll show you something good by myself. With that said, Ye Chen waved his hand, and the other strong men present in the Abyss Plane disappeared. No matter what you look at, I can't possibly give you anything. The other party was forceful and honest. He. Ye Chen smiled slightly, and the next second the body of the Skeleton Hall Master appeared in front of him. Do you know him? Ye Chen asked with a smile. Master of the Skeleton Hall. The other person shouted in shock. But soon, the other party sneered, Your Majesty made a fake corpse, do you think I will be scared and will obediently give you my things? Dream. Ye Chen lifted his restriction, and he restored this guy's strength to the 8-star perfection level. With such strength, it can be clearly determined that the corpse is indeed that of the Skeleton Hall Master. You are Liang Tianzun. Lord Liang, you can kill the Skeleton Palace Master, but you are targeting me, is that too much? The other party took a deep breath and said. Please feel carefully whether I am the Liang Heavenly Lord. Ye Chen smiled lightly, and as he spoke, he released his aura with all his strength. You. The other party couldn't believe it. In this case, he could naturally tell that Ye Chen was not Liang Tianzun. Ye Chen smiled and said, I arrived at the Abyss Plane, reached the mid-9-star strength there, and killed the master of the Skeleton Palace. Do you think I dare to kill you? The other party's face was extremely gloomy. Since Ye Chen killed the master of the Skeleton Hall, he has already formed a blood feud with them in the Abyss Plane. If the news was revealed, his father would have caused trouble for Ye Chen. If you take out all your things and cooperate a little, you may still survive. After all, you have a powerful father. If you don't cooperate, you will die, and the rest of you in the Abyss Plane will also die. If Liang Tianzun kills you, what does it have to do with me, Ye Chen? Ye Chen smiled. After being silent for a while, he said, Ye Chen, you have to swear an oath to heaven, and if Luo Hanjian and the others swear an oath of poison, if you take something, you will let me go in the future. Do you think it's possible? You either give it away happily, or you die. Ye Chen looked indifferent and said, I will give you half a stick of incense to think about it. If you don't agree, you'll die. Soon the half stick of incense time passed, and the other party gritted his teeth and said, okay, I'll give you the stuff. The other party opened his own space treasure. Ye Chen's consciousness instantly entered inside, and a small black tower appeared in his hand. That's what he couldn't see through. That's it? What is this? Ye Chen asked. The other party said in a deep voice, this is the Wuxian Tower that my father spent a lot of effort to refine. It used a lot of resources and is extremely precious. It allows a small number of strong people to enter low-level planes and fully display their strength. Ye Chen put the things away. When entering a powerful plane, this thing is useless. The limit of the world in a powerful plane is already high. As long as you adapt to the environment, your strength can be fully unleashed. If you want to enter a weaker plane in the future, it's still very good. Why did your father use such a thing and send so many of you strong men here? Ye Chen asked. You and Luo Hanjian are most likely both 9-star immortal level systems. There are other 9-star level systems here. It's cost effective to use this one. The other party said in a deep voice. Yechen looked at the other party. Judging from the other party's expression, it seemed that the other party was not lying. Emperor Lei Yuan might not have suspected that he had a 10-star level system. Very good, you can rest first. Yechen said softly that he didn't kill this guy immediately, he might still be useful in the future. Open your space treasure or die. I will give you 10 breaths of time to think about it. Yechen's voice sounded in the minds of the other 100,000 strong men in the Abyss Plane. The remaining strong men in the Abyss Plane are now imprisoned in different places. After receiving the summons, they were troubled. When the 10-breath time was approaching, they basically opened their own space treasures. In their opinion, Yechen might not dare to kill the Xuanhuan Supreme, the son of Emperor Lei Yuan, but among the rest of them, Yechen should not dare to kill any of them. Receive. Yechen took away a lot of things from their space treasures. Among their 100,000 strong men, there are more than 100 strong men with 7-star strength and 8-star strength, and they have a lot of good things in total. But unfortunately, Yechen did not find the plane fragment of Yanhuang plane in their space treasures. Huh. Yechen's eyes lit up, and a fragment appeared in his hand. This fragment is not a plane fragment of Yanhuang plane, but it is a plane fragment of Xian plane. Luo Hongjian has the plane token of Xian plane, but there is still one fragment missing. Her plane token is not complete now and cannot play its power. The last fragment is in place. I didn't expect Hongjian didn't find this, and the strong man of the Abyss plane found it. Yechen said in his heart. Immediately, Yechen arrived at the place where Luo Hongjian and the other women were. Hongjian, this is for you. Yechen smiled and handed the fragment of the plane token to Luo Hongjian. Luo Hongjian's eyes lit up. With this last fragment, her plane token can be complete. The compatibility of the plane token can be greatly improved. The ability will also be improved a lot. For example, she can let Luo Yudi and others reach a higher limit in the red flame plane. Husband, I spent a lot of time looking for this, but I didn't expect it to be obtained by the strong man in the Abyss plane. Luo Hongjian said in surprise. Yechen smiled and said, those guys from the Abyss plane are good people. They not only sent treasures, but also found the fragments of this plane token. Hongjian, you should hurry up and restore the plane token. By the way, you will practice in the time tower next. I signed in and got a 9-star immortal time tower, and the economic acceleration can reach 100 million times. Luo Hongjian and the others suddenly realized that it was no wonder that Yechen already had the strength of the middle 9-star. They used the time cube to practice, and the time acceleration was only tens of millions times. At the same time, Yechen practiced in the time tower 10 times as much as they did. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 584. 5 years have passed in the blink of an eye, and Luo Hongjian and the others in the time tower have been practicing for nearly 500 million years. Yechen was naturally not idle either. Except for the occasional pause in practicing together to wander around, Yechen and the others spent most of their time practicing. Yechen signs in 3 times every year. In the red flame plane, it is difficult for Yechen to sign in and obtain 9-star level treasures, but it is not difficult for Yechen to sign in and obtain 8-star level treasures. The 8-star level treasure Luo Hongjian is just right for them to use. Suddenly, Yechen, who was practicing, opened his eyes, and he felt the changes in the entire world. Hongjian, are the plane tokens completely integrated? Yechen sent a message to Luo Hongjian. Yes, husband. It has just been completely integrated, and I was about to tell you, but I didn't expect that everything in the world would change. Luo Hongjian said happily. In 5 years, time has accelerated by 4 to 5 billion years, which is enough time for the plane token to recover. Luo Hongjian's cultivation level has also reached the 7-star perfection level, which is the peak level of 8-star strength. In addition, she has a plane token. In the Xian plane, her strength can increase a lot, and her strength can reach the late 9-star level. The increase in Luo Hanjian's strength is limited by the limits of heaven and earth. No matter how many treasures she possesses, in the Qian plane, her strength limit is still at the late 9-star stage. Ye Chen's cultivation level is already in the late 8-star stage, and the Four Swords of Zhu Xian is in the late 9-star stage. If he were outside the red flame plane, Ye Chen would estimate that he already has the strength in the late 9-star stage. But inside the red flame plane, Ye Chen's strength cannot be fully unleashed yet. It's still only at the mid 9-star level. The Four Swords of Zhu Xian and others can only support Ye Chen to reach the limit of heaven and earth here. Husband, I will immediately increase your limit of heaven and earth in the red flame plane. Luo Hanjian arrived next to Ye Chen. With the plane token, Luo Hanjian could not increase the strength of the others in the Xian plane, but there was no problem in making the limit of heaven and earth higher. Of course, it is impossible to surpass her. Ye Chen nodded slightly, and he noticed a trace of power entering his body. For about half an hour, Ye Chen felt that the restrictions imposed on him by the red flame plane were removed, and he could fully display his strength in the red flame plane. Hanjian, now you have the strength of the late 9-star in the red flame plane, I have the strength of the late 9-star in Lan, and the others are not weak either, they are much safer. Ye Chen smiled. Luo Hanjian nodded, husband, it has been 5 years, and Emperor Lei Yuan is afraid that he will be here soon. If Emperor Lei Yuan gets the news, it won't take long to get here with his strength, but it will probably take 4 or 5 years for the news to reach the abyss plane. Ye Chen nodded slightly. Lei Yuan Emperor's 9-star peak strength and powerful system make him an extremely formidable opponent. Even a strong man with a perfect 9-star level has to give some face to Emperor Lei Yuan. It is also very difficult for a strong man with a perfect 9-star level to kill Emperor Lei Yuan. Husband, what should we do? Luo Hanjian said. Ye Chen chuckled and said, ignore them, let's practice steadily. We have a lot of resources, which is enough for our cultivation to improve a lot. In terms of cultivation level, Ye Chen's current cultivation level in the late 8-star stage is not high, let alone Luo Hanjian's 7-star perfection level cultivation level, and An Langxiu's and their peak 7-star cultivation level. In the Scarlet Flame plane, with the plane token, Luo Hanjian's strength is still very strong. After leaving the Scarlet Flame plane, Luo Hanjian's 8-star peak strength is not bad either. But the enemy is too strong. Sir, there is a plane change in the red flame plane. In this case, it seems that the plane token fusion was successful. Emperor Lei Yuan has a strong man beside him. Emperor Lei Yuan has indeed arrived at the red flame plane now. He arrived half a month ago. After arriving here, he did not immediately enter the red flame plane. All the powerful men in the abyss plane of the 5 levels were missing, so Lei Yuan Emperor conducted an investigation first. Naturally nothing was found. Under the current situation, Emperor Lei Yuan suspected that other top planes were involved. Considering that the strong men from the light plane arrived at the abyss plane before them, Emperor Lei Yuan felt that there was a higher chance that the strong men from the light plane would take action here. Ye Chen went to the outside world by himself and easily captured their people from 5 levels. Is this possible? Each of the 5 levels has 8-star level experts. Moreover, there are 2 8-star level experts guarding the outside of the red flame plane. If Ye Chen and the others leave from the red flame plane, they will probably be captured immediately. Also, in the Scarlet Flame plane, many powerful people like Mad Dragon Supreme have adapted to the environment inside. Mad Dragon Supreme has the strength of the early 9-star stage. Sir, something seems amiss with this situation. Ye Chen and the others should not dare to go outside July universe to obtain plane token fragments. Why are the plane tokens fused in this case? Another strong man said, also, even if they get the plane token fragments, will there be enough time for them to fuse the plane token fragments? Emperor Lei Yuan said quietly, so your opinion is dash. Sir, I think there should be strong men from other planes who have obtained plane tokens. They may have more powerful time-accelerating treasures. We can send envoys inside to negotiate with them. With your strength and position, the other party should still give you face. Emperor Lei Yuan's subordinate said. Emperor Lei Yuan nodded slightly, and his eyes swept over, who is willing to enter the red flame plane as an envoy. If you succeed, I will give you a big reward. Although the strong men present were a little worried, some of them stood up immediately. Yunji, go in. Emperor Lei Yuan looked at a woman and said, the other party was one of his disciples. Yes, master. Yunji nodded, her name was Yan Yunji. The cultivation level of the 7 stars immortal level. Yunji, after you get inside, don't wait to adapt to the cultivation level, just go directly. With the other party's strength, whether you adapt to the environment inside or not will have no effect. Emperor Lei Yuan said. Yes, master. Yan Yunji quickly entered the red flame plane. Luo Hongjian now has a complete plane token. In the red flame plane, she still has the cultivation level of the late 9 stars. She instantly discovered Yan Yunji's entry. Husband, someone has entered the red flame plane. The other party has only the 7-star immortal level of cultivation. It feels like they came in to negotiate. Luo Hongjian said. Ye Chen smiled faintly and said, directly lead the other party here. Okay, husband. Luo Hongjian nodded. The next second, Yan Yunji felt a powerful force enveloping her, and the space fluctuated. In just a few seconds, she was in front of Ye Chen and the others. Her strength was suppressed a lot after entering the red flame plane. Now that she has entered the July universe, Yan Yunji's strength has been suppressed even more. Seeing Ye Chen and Luo Hongjian, Yan Yunji was stunned. Of course, she knows Ye Chen and Luo Hongjian now, but why are they? As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 585. Thunder Abyss Emperor and his many strong men analyzed for a long time, and there should be other strong men involved. Ye Chen and his men took down many strong men in their abyss plane. According to the analysis of Thunder Abyss Emperor and his men, the possibility is less than 1%. Senior, you are not Ye Chen and Luo Hongjian. Yan Yunji said. She immediately thought of this possibility. The strength of the abyss plane is still very strong. Even if other planes are causing trouble here and taking down their people, they may not want them to know. Ye Chen said calmly, is Emperor Lei Yuan here? Yan Yunji said in a deep voice, Senior, Master has indeed come. Master said that you are strong, so let the strong men from our abyss plane go, and our people from the abyss plane can leave. We don't care about what you did to our abyss plane before. Ye Chen smiled calmly, has Emperor Lei Yuan's temper improved? I heard that the Lord of the Skeleton Hall died in the abyss plane, and the murderer has not been found out yet. Yan Yunji's eyes flashed with brilliance. When Ye Chen said this, she was more certain that Ye Chen and Luo Hongjian were not the real people, but were disguised by other strong men. Senior, what is your choice? Even if our abyss plane encounters some troubles, our abyss plane still has extremely powerful strength and strong war potential. Yan Yunji said, although the Skeleton Hall Master is dead, as long as my master and others take out a few 9-star treasures to the 8-star perfect strength strong men, we may immediately have a few more 9-star strength strong men. Ye Chen raised his eyebrows. That's right. After getting the treasures of the Skeleton Hall Master, he knew this clearly. There are several such treasures in the space treasures of the Skeleton Hall Master. Under normal circumstances, strong men like the Skeleton Hall Master are too lazy to give away treasures, and it may not be a good thing for them if their subordinates become too powerful. But if they face strong pressure, the war potential will be released. There are only a dozen 9-star immortal level strongmen in the Abyss Plane at present, but if a war breaks out, the 9-star immortal level strongmen in the Abyss Plane may increase 3 or 4 times. If you don't take this into consideration, you may suffer a big loss in the Abyss Plane. I will hold the strong men from your Abyss Plane for now. You can go back to the Abyss Plane first. Ye Chen said calmly. Yan Yunji frowned and said, Senior, you know this is impossible. The strong men from our Abyss Plane have been held by you for quite some time, which is a shame. When this happens, Master will definitely react. Our Thunder City is likely to burst out with war potential. With the increase of strong men in our Thunder City, the other forces in the Abyss Plane will definitely react. Senior, if this happens, our Abyss Plane will definitely have large-scale actions, and there will be extremely serious consequences. Ye Chen said calmly, if you want to do this in Thunder City, feel free to do it. You can either leave or kill me in and try. Kill one by one. Thunder Emperor Zun will die if his strength drops greatly when he enters here. At this point, Ye Chen burst out with the terrifying aura of the middle stage of the 9 stars. Yan Yunji felt his soul tremble. If it were outside, it would be fine. She at least had the strength of the 7-star immortal level. Now in the July universe, Yan Yunji's strength was suppressed to only the 2-star immortal level. The strength gap is extremely huge. I am in the middle stage of the 9-star level here. You are welcome to come in at any time. You can leave. Ye Chen said in a light voice, and he instantly withdrew his momentum. Yan Yunji gasped and her face turned pale. The terrifying aura just now enveloped her, and she felt as if she was going to die. Senior, how about releasing a few? Even if you only release 1 or 2. Yan Yunji took a deep breath and said in a deep voice. Ye Chen's eyes turned cold, do you want to die here? Yan Yunji's heart trembled. My lord, with my current strength, I can't leave the Xian plane. Ye Chen waved his hand casually, and the space channel for leaving immediately appeared, and Yan Yunji left quickly. A few minutes later, Yan Yunji arrived outside. Emperor Lei Yuan and his men immediately found Yan Yunji, and soon Yan Yunji arrived in front of Emperor Lei Yuan. Master! Yan Yunji bowed. She let Emperor Lei Yuan read this part of her memory directly. Emperor Lei Yuan frowned. The other party's attitude was much tougher than he expected. Master, the other party actually knew about the Skeleton Hall Master. Is it possible that the other party is the strong man who left? Another disciple of Emperor Lei Yuan said. Emperor Lei Yuan shook his head, the other party came here and did not have enough time to adapt to the environment here. Besides, if that was the case, why did the other party mention it? There may be a strong man from the light plane inside. Lai Tianzun and his men are strong men from the light plane. If there are strong men from the light plane in the red flame plane, it is normal for them to get the news. Yan Yunji said, Master, I feel that the other party's hostility is not very strong. If the other party is hostile and deliberately makes enemies with us, they can just wait until many of our strong men enter and take action directly. Yes. Emperor Lei Yuan nodded slightly. The other party showed their strength and pointed out that they still had other troubles in the Abyss Plane. They probably wanted them to leave the Red Flame Plane. Let's go back. Thunder Abyss Emperor thought for a while and said in a deep voice. They can find a way to enter the Red Flame Plane, but this will cost a heavy price. They can also stay outside, but the other party can kill them. If they leave directly, there is a high probability that Xuanhuan Tianzun and his men can survive. It is a bit cowardly and embarrassing. Emperor Li Wen's plan is that they will leave for a few years, give the other party face, and then come back to ask for people. If the other party still does not let them go after they give face, then the other party is too disrespectful to Emperor Li Wen and the Abyss Plane. Wives, hurry up and practice. Emperor Li Wen and his men have left, but Emperor Li Wen and his men will definitely come again. Ye Chen said to Luo Hanjian and the others. It didn't take long for Ye Chen and his men to know that Emperor Li Wen and his men had left. There are strong men from other planes in the outside world entering the red flame plane. From the mouths of the strong men who entered, Ye Chen and his men knew that Emperor Li Wen and his men had left. Of course, it is also possible that Emperor Li Wen and his men are hiding nearby, but the possibility of this is not very high. There has been some recent events in the Abyss Plane, and the death of the Skeleton Hall Master has not been investigated. The Skeleton Hall Master is a late-stage 9-star strongman, a top boss in the Abyss Plane. Compared with his death, the events here are not that important. Yes. Luo Hongjian and the others nodded. Luo Hongjian said, "Husband, you already have the strength of the late-stage 9-star, why don't you take Lan and the others to the Abyss Plane to practice first? On the Abyss Plane side, you can also sign in to get better treasures. It doesn't matter if my cultivation level improves a little bit slowly here. The highest strength allowed here is only the late-stage 9-star, and I have reached the limit." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 586. Ye Chen frowned slightly, he didn't want to be separated from Luo Hongjian. Luo Hongjian smiled and said, "Husband, sooner or later you will have to help us adapt to the environment of the abyss, so why not do it now? Emperor Lei Yuan and the others have left. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others may not come here within 30 to 50 years. It will be rare to find peace in the next period of time." Luo Yudi said, "Brother-in-law, I'll stay with Sister Hongjian. You take Lan and the others there, and then you can take me and sister there." Luo Hongjian shook her head, "Chang Li, you go there too. Even the strength of the 5 of you here is not as good as mine. Only Lan and the 4 of them will be left by then, so it won't be that safe. Husband, don't worry about me. It should be very peaceful here from now on. I will practice cultivation and 10 or 20 years will pass quickly. With Ye Chen's help, it would take Lanxiu and the others less than 10 years to adapt to the environment in the abyss, and it would only take a year for them to travel back and forth. But Lanxiu and the others still have to spend time practicing in the Abyss Plane. The Abyss Plane is stronger, and your cultivation and improvement there will be much faster. Hongjian, we'll leave in half a month." Ye Chen said to Luo Hongjian. What Luo Hongjian said makes sense. The rest of the quiet time should really be put to good use. Luo Hongjian nodded. Ye Chen stayed with Luo Hongjian wholeheartedly for half a month. During this half-month, Lanxiu and the others did not disturb Ye Chen and the others. Half a month later, Ye Chen quietly left the Xian Plain. He was invisible outside the Red Flame Plane. There are more than a dozen strong men from other planes outside the Red Flame Plane, but they dare not enter the Red Flame Plane rashly. Even Emperor Lei Yuan left when he arrived. And half a month ago, there were corpses thrown out of the Red Flame Plane. It was the body of the powerful man who entered the Red Flame Plane a few days ago. They want to gain benefits by entering the Red Flame Plane, but there is no need if the danger is too high. Snort. Ye Chen snorted in his heart. But he didn't deal with these guys. As long as they dare to enter the Red Flame Plane, Luo Hongjian will immediately capture them and kill them. Bodies will be thrown out. If a few more people die, no more powerful people will enter later. Soon Ye Chen left. Those dozen strong men didn't notice Ye Chen at all. The strongest among them is only at the mid-8-star level. Compared with Ye Chen, who is at the late 9-star level, the gap is not even a star. Half a year later, Ye Chen easily entered the Abyss Plane. The master of the Skeleton Palace died, and the management of the Abyss Plane became much stricter. But all strong men are not prohibited from entering the Abyssal Plane. It is not difficult to sneak into the Abyss Plane with Ye Chen's current late 9-star strength. The Thunder Abyss Emperor cannot personally guard outside the Abyss Plane. Husband, the strength here is so suppressed. When Yechen entered the Abyss Plane, Enlangxiu and the others were shocked. The Abyssal Plane was extremely powerful, and their strength was suppressed 500 times. There was a faint fear in their hearts. When Yechen came here, his strength would have been suppressed so much. If something unexpected happened, they might not be able to see Yechen again. Just practice with peace of mind. Yechen's voice sounded in Enlangxiu's ears. The next day, Yechen arrived near Skeleton City. The original Skeleton City was destroyed. Now the Skeleton City, which looks exactly like the original one, appears in its original place. Or call it Skeleton City. But this Skeleton City is nothing like the original Skeleton City. It took Yechen, Li Yangtianzun, and the others 2 or 3 hours of bombardment to completely destroy the original Skeleton City. Now this new Skeleton City can't withstand it for 10 seconds. Of course, this does not affect Yechen's signing here. Here he has an 8-star immortal level sign-in point, which can quickly accumulate strong luck, making it easier for him to sign in and obtain powerful treasures. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. 5 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Yechen signs in 3 times every year. The treasures obtained are basically at the 8-star perfection level, which is suitable for Enlangxiu and the others. The reason why he didn't sign in frequently to obtain 9-star immortal treasures was very simple. The rest of the system power that Yechen's system devoured and digested was not very much. Yechen has not used those powers in the past 5 years. Brother-in-law, I have completely adapted to the environment here. Luo Yudi's voice sounded in Yechen's mind. Chang Li, seize the time to practice. Enlan and the others have already adapted to the environment here before you. Yechen said with a smile. Luo Yudi and the others' cultivation has not increased in the past 5 years, but the enlightenment pill, chaos pill, etc. in the past 5 years were not in vain. They are equivalent to 5 years of accumulation. It won't take too long for their cultivations to reach 7-star perfection one after another, and their early 8-star cultivations are just around the corner. Okay, brother-in-law. Luo Yudi continues to practice. Unknowingly, another 4 years had passed, and Enlangxiu and the other 5 had already reached the 7-star perfect cultivation level. Boom! In Yanhuang Eternal City, a powerful aura erupted from Yechen's body. Yechen's cultivation finally reached the peak level of 8 stars. In the 9 years since he arrived here, Yechen has been practicing at an accelerated speed of 100 million times most of the time, which is equivalent to practicing for 89 million years. After such a long time, it was normal for Yechen to break through to the 8-star peak cultivation level. His skills, bloodline, and physique are all at the 9-star immortal level, and he also has powerful elixirs. Finally, I have reached the peak of the 8-star level. But unfortunately, my combat power is still at the late 9-star level, which has only been improved a little on the original basis. Yechen thought to himself. His current combat power is close to the peak of the 9-star level, but it has not reached it. The 4 swords of Xuanhuan are now only at the late 9-star level. System, how much attack power can be achieved when using the power of death to attack? Yechen asked in his mind. It turned out to be the peak of the 9-star level. Now that he has broken through his cultivation, the system's ability will be stronger. Host, you have reached the perfect 9-star level. The system said. Yechen smiled. The attack power of the system in this aspect should be no weaker than the thunder attack of the Thunder Abyss Emperor system. My own strength is close to the peak of the 9-star level, and the system's perfect 9-star attack power may be able to be a little bit of a wave next time. Yechen muttered in his heart. As long as the 4 swords of Xuanhuan are stronger, or get other more powerful treasures, Yechen estimates that his combat power will reach the peak of the 9-star level by then. This requires a powerful 9-star level reward. In the previous 8 years, I signed in a total of 24 times, and only got a 9-star level reward once. Consolidate your cultivation first. Ye Chen closed his eyes. With 100 million times time acceleration, Ye Chen had consolidated it in a few days. He stopped practicing and quietly sneaked into the skeleton city. The skeleton hall master died, but the skeleton hall did not disband. Emperor Lei Yuan gave the skeleton hall a 9-star level treasure for a strong man. At the same time, he supported him to become the new master of the skeleton hall. That strong man had an 8-star perfect level of cultivation. Under the acceleration of time, he had made the treasure recognize the master, and he already had the strength of the early 9-star. With a strong man with the strength of the 9-star immortal level, the strength of the skeleton hall is not weak now. Ye Chen quietly approached the Lingshan where the new master of the skeleton hall was. The restrictions of Lingshan were not very strong. Ye Chen sneaked directly into the Lingshan and approached the cave where the new master of the skeleton hall was in seclusion. Go. Ye Chen quietly released the 4 swords of Xuanhuan, covering the entire cave. Then he broke into the cave directly. Who? The new master of the skeleton hall, Demon Soul Tianzun, shouted fiercely, and he immediately tried to escape. But the 4 swords of Xuanhuan covered the cave, and he couldn't escape even if he used forbidden techniques. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 587. Run, you keep running. Ye Chen's indifferent voice sounded, and he released the aura of the late 9 stars. Yanhuang Eternal City also released the aura of the late 9 stars. En Langxiu and the other 5 girls released the aura of the late 8 stars or even the peak 8 stars. Although they all only have 7-star perfect cultivation, they all have more than one 8-star perfect level treasure, and the weak ones have all reached the late 8-star stage. His Demon Soul Tianzun took a breath of cold air. 2 late 9-star powerhouses, plus a few 8-star level powerhouses, what's the matter? He only has 9-star initial strength. He must be a strong man from the light plane. Such thoughts flashed through Demon Soul Tianzun's mind. In an ordinary plane, how could there be 2 late 9-star powerhouses? Not to mention the late 9-star stage, there are even 8-star level experts in some planes. Senior, the master of the skeleton hall has died. Today's skeleton hall is no longer the skeleton hall before. Seniors, there is no need for you to target our skeleton hall. Demon Soul Tianzun came to Ye Chen and said. Of course Ye Chen changed his appearance. Demon Soul Tianzun didn't know Ye Chen's identity. Ye Chen said coldly, although the master of the skeleton hall is dead, there is one treasure that has not been found. This treasure is probably in the possession of the other strong men in your skeleton hall. You imprison your own cultivation. Demon Soul Tianzun nodded. What can he do in this situation? Resistance is a dead end. Even if the other strong men in the skeleton palace outside know about it, they can't do anything to Ye Chen and the others. Soon Demon Soul Tianzun imprisoned his own cultivation. You send a message to the other 8-star immortal level powerhouses here in Skeleton City and ask them to come over. You can also send them running. That way you will die, and none of the powerful people related to you will be able to escape. Ye Chen said softly. Demon Soul Tianzun had no choice but to summon him. There are not many 8-star level experts in the Skeleton Palace now, but there are still more than a dozen 8-star level experts, and the overall strength is still quite strong. As long as you give the Skeleton Hall some time and some strong men let the treasures claim their masters, there will be more strong men in the Skeleton Hall, and their strength will not be much weaker than before. Palace Master. Soon, more than a dozen strong men from the Skeleton Palace arrived at Demon Soul Tianzun. They didn't suspect anything. The master of the Skeleton Hall died, and they gathered together to discuss it not once or twice. Even with their strength, they couldn't discover the Xuxian sword formation. The Xuxian sword formation will not prevent them from entering. Boom. Boom. Soon the newly arrived strong man felt 2 late -9-star auras, several 8-star level auras, and more than 27-star level auras. Demon Soul Tianzun said, although the master of the Skeleton Palace is dead, these two seniors have not found a treasure. Please cooperate with these two seniors to find it. Half of the new strong ones only have the strength of the early 8-star stage, and they are no match for them. A strong person in the late 9-star stage will fight against a strong person in the early 8-star stage. One can defeat 10 of them without any problem. Yes, Palace Master. Although he was angry in his heart, under the current situation, the strong men who came in later did not dare to say anything. Confining your cultivation. Then open your space treasure. Ye Chen said with an indifferent expression. One of the strong men said angrily, Senior, are you from the light plane going too far and being too domineering? You killed the master of the Skeleton Palace, and now you are back again. Say what you want, and if we have it, we will give it to you. Let's open the space treasure. I'm afraid it won't be appropriate. This strong man has a perfect 7-star cultivation level and an early stage of 8-star strength, which is pretty good. Domineering, so what? Ye Chen's cold voice sounded. The powerful sword energy and the power of Yanhuang Eternal City came to him at the same time. Although the 8-star early stage warriors are quite strong, facing the simultaneous attacks of 2 9-star late stage warriors, this one can only be killed in an instant. Damn it! The other strong men were frightened. Their people were killed instantly like this. Being killed by 2 strong men in the late 9-star stage, even if they can be resurrected in the future, it must be an extremely long time ago. Senior, calm down. We cooperate. Demon Soul Tianzun said quickly, and he immediately sent a message to the rest of the people to ask them to cooperate. They can't afford to offend the powerful people in the late 9-star stage of the light plane. Soon, the dozen or so strong men in Skeleton City all restricted their own cultivation. They also opened their own space treasure. Receive. Ye Chen transferred all the items in their spatial treasure in an instant. Now you can send a message to the outside world. You can send a message to all the immortal level experts in Skeleton City and ask them to open their own space treasures. If they do it, you live. If they don't, you die. Ye Chen said with an indifferent expression. Demon Soul Tianzun and the others were extremely angry. It was not enough to take away their treasures. Ye Chen wanted to plunder all the remaining strong men in their skeleton hall. Senior, is there something wrong with this? It may damage your reputation, Senior. Demon Soul Tianzun said cautiously. Ye Chen looked over coldly, we are not from the plane of light, so don't talk nonsense when the time comes. Otherwise there may be even greater disasters in the future. Now, do as I say. Demon Soul Tianzun and the others had to send a message to the other strong men in Skeleton City. There are many powerful people below the 8-star immortal level in the entire Skeleton City, and there are also some who are at the 7-star immortal level. Immediately there were 7-star immortal level experts trying to escape. Puff. The 4 swords of Zhu Xian have enveloped the entire Skeleton City. The sword light flashed, and the 7-star immortal powerhouse who tried to escape from the Skeleton City was instantly beheaded. Poof. Who? There was more than one strong person trying to escape. In the blink of an eye, the other 2 7-star immortal level experts also died, one was beheaded and the other was burned. If you don't cooperate, the entire Skeleton City will be massacred. Ye Chen's cold voice echoed throughout Skeleton City. After slaughtering the entire abyssal plane, Ye Chen would not feel any psychological pressure. Back then, the abyss plane was the vanguard, the light plane was the main force, and some strong men secretly followed to cause trouble. 99% of the people in the Yanhuang plane died. The ranking of the entire Yanhuang plane plummeted, and it was almost completely destroyed. There are only 3,000 planes in total, and the Yanhuang plane is now ranked after 2,800. Don't be impulsive. Cooperate. Demon Soul Tianzun's voice echoed throughout the Skeleton City. All the immortal level experts in Skeleton City reluctantly opened their space treasures. Receive. A large number of things were quickly moved by Ye Chen to the warehouse in Yanhuang Eternal City. Everyone, listen, the Skeleton Palace can no longer exist. Devil Soul Tianzun and the others, I will take them all away, so you can take care of yourself. Ye Chen's cold voice echoed throughout the Skeleton City. Receive. The next second, Ye Chen put away the 4 swords of Zhu Xian and left Skull City. People in Skeleton City fled one after another, and the news here spread quickly. Emperor Lei Yuan had returned to the Abyss Plane, and he was furious when he got the news. The death of the Skeleton Palace Master has not yet been clarified, and it is not known who killed him. He was deflated in the Red Flame Plane. Now, there are actually strong men coming to target the Skeleton Palace. Although Emperor Lei Yuan is not from the Skeleton Palace, he is the strongest person in the Abyss Plane. When such a thing happened, his face was slapped. There are several 9-star immortal level experts in the Abyss Plane who are now in Thunder City. Emperor Lei Yuan led them to Skeleton City as quickly as possible. Come out. Emperor Lei Yuan asked those 9-star immortal level experts and many 6, 7, or 8-star immortal level experts to come outside. You 2 fellow Taoists from the Light Plane, listen. I know that you can definitely know the news here, release Demon Soul Tianzun and the others immediately, and return the plundered treasures, otherwise our Abyss Plane will retaliate. The extremely cold voice of Emperor Lei Yuan came from far away. A large number of their strong men exuded powerful auras. System, use all the power of the swallowed system to sign in 3 times. Ye Chen said in his mind. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 588. On the one hand, Ye Chen wanted to catch some people so that his system could devour their systems, on the other hand, Ye Chen wanted to attract Emperor Lei Yuan and others. There are many strong people nearby, so the sign-in effect will be much better. Ye Chen's eyes showed expectation. The effect of signing in this time should be very good. The swallowing system power was not used before, but it was used this time. There were not many strong people around before, but now Emperor Lei Yuan and others came. Ye Chen's cultivation is also higher, and the system power is stronger. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for upgrading his skills to the peak level of 9 stars. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for upgrading his Brahma ring to the late level of 9 stars. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for upgrading his Eternal World Tree to the late level of 9 stars. The sign-in results will come out soon. Ye Chen smiled, 2 late 9-star rewards and 1 peak 9-star reward, which is very good. System, strengthen my skills. Strengthen the Burning Heaven Ring and Xiaolu. Ye Chen said in his mind. Xiaolu had stayed in the Red Flame Plane before, and Ye Chen brought Xiaolu back this time. Ye Chen's skills were enhanced, and the Brahma ring became stronger, which had little impact on their combat power at present. Xiaolu's promotion to the late 9-star level greatly improved their strength. Xiaolu was only at the 8-star level before. When Xiaolu's enhancement was completed, Ye Chen himself, Yanhuang Immortal City, and Xiaolu, they were equivalent to 3 late 9-star masters, with strong strength. In the Abyss Plane, there were originally 2 late 9-star masters, the Skeleton Palace Master and the Deep Space Demon Lord. Now the Skeleton Palace Master is dead. The Deep Space Demon Lord was attacked before, and his strength was reduced to only the middle 9-star level. Now he may not have recovered. As time passed, Ye Chen temporarily used 1 billion times of time acceleration. His skills were enhanced first, and then the Brahma ring was enhanced to the late 9-star level. Finally, Xiaolu's enhancement was completed. Only 7 or 8 days had passed in the outside world. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others had not left yet. After making harsh words in front, there was no response at all, and Emperor Lei Yuan was extremely annoyed. Lei Yuan deist, what should we do? The other 9-star level masters of the Abyss Plane asked. They were also annoyed. The Abyss Plane is at least the 10th ranked plane, but it was targeted like this. Thunder Emperor took a deep breath and said, there are many people from the light plane in our Abyss Plane. Let's work together to capture some of them. Don't kill them first, let's see how the light plane reacts. The other masters nodded. In their opinion, more than 90% of this matter may be done by the light plane. Even if it's not, it's a fact that Liang Tianzun and his men targeted the skeleton hall before. The order was passed down, and many masters from the light plane on the Abyss Plane were quickly arrested. They couldn't even escape. Many people from the light plane here were brought here, so they naturally didn't have the strength of the 7-star immortal level. Even if they had the strength of the 7-star immortal level, they couldn't escape. There are strong men blocking outside the Abyss Plane. Ye Chen didn't pay attention to the situation outside. The Burning Heaven Ring has been upgraded to the late 9-star level, and it is difficult for Emperor Lei Yuan to find him. 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Ye Chen did not sign in during these 3 years. He was waiting for an opportunity. He only used 1 billion times of time to accelerate the time when strengthening the skills, the Burning Heaven Ring and Xiaolu, and only 100 million times later. Ye Chen's cultivation is still at the peak of 8 stars. En Langxiu and the other 5 have all reached the early 8-star level. Some of them are at the peak of 8 stars, and some are perfect 8 stars. Even in the Abyss Plane, En Langxiu and the others are already very strong now. Emperor Lei Yuan, come out. The furious voice of the Supreme Liang spread far from the skeleton city. Ye Chen heard the voice of the Supreme Liang and sensed the strong aura emitted by the Supreme Liang. Someone is coming from the bright plane. After receiving the news here, the bright plane responded quickly. This time, more than 20 9-star immortal level warriors came from the bright plane, led by a 9-star peak warrior, and 2 9-star late warriors also came. Such a lineup is extremely terrifying. There are only about 50 9-star immortal level warriors in the bright plane, and a small half of them have come. Boom. Boom. 20 9-star immortal level warriors in the bright plane wantonly released their terrifying aura. Emperor Lei Yuan was not here. But knowing the situation here, Emperor Lei Yuan and many other warriors from the Abyss Plane rushed over, and more than a dozen of them exuded a 9-star level aura. There were only a dozen 9-star immortal level warriors in the Abyss Plane. Now, in this situation, it goes without saying that a certain amount of war potential has been released. Emperor Lei Yuan and others gave treasures and resources, allowing some of the other warriors in the Abyss Plane to reach the 9-star level. Come out. A large number of warriors in the space treasures of Emperor Lei Yuan and others came out. The same is true on the bright plane. However, there are fewer strong people in the light plane. After all, many strong people in the light plane have not adapted to the environment of the Abyss Plane. Even if they are brought here, they still need 10 years to adapt. Tisk tisk, these guys in the light plane have bad tempers. I like it. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. A smile appeared on his face. Last time I signed in, there were only a few 9-star immortal masters here. Now, there are more than 30 9-star immortal masters in the light plane and the Abyss Plane. There are also many masters below 9 stars. It's an absolute grand scene. System, consume all the system power obtained by swallowing, and sign in 3 times. Ye Chen said in his mind. He hasn't signed in for 3 years, and he is waiting for such an opportunity. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host for improving his physique to the peak level of 9 stars. The first reward came out soon. Ye Chen immediately said in his mind, System, stop signing in first, and strengthen my physique first. Physical strengthening, this can improve cultivation. Under time acceleration, Ye Chen has been practicing at the peak of the 8-star realm for hundreds of millions of years. With physical strengthening, his cultivation will definitely reach the perfect 8-star level. The higher the cultivation, the higher the chance of signing in to get good things. Host, even if it is strengthened under 1,000,000,000 times time acceleration, it will take at least 3 days. Are you sure? The system said. Ye Chen thought for a while and said, sure. The strong men of the light plane and the strong men of the abyss plane should not be able to fight out the result all at once. In the negotiation, both sides will constantly test each other's bottom line. This takes time. Okay, host. Under the billion-fold time acceleration, Ye Chen's physique continued to strengthen. It turned out that Ye Chen's physique was at the early stage of the 9-star, and it improved a lot to the peak of the 9-star. You must know that at this level, it is not easy to improve a small realm. 3 days later, the strengthening was over. As Ye Chen expected, his cultivation had indeed reached the perfect 8-star level. And he also advanced a distance in the perfect 8-star level. Combat power, peak 9 stars. It turned out that Ye Chen's combat power was only a little bit away from the peak of the 9 stars. His combat power would definitely improve a lot with the improvement of his cultivation, enough to cross that boundary. But the 4 swords of Zhu Xian was only at the late 9-star level, and Ye Chen's current combat power was at the bottom of the peak 9 stars. System, continue to sign in. Ye Chen said in his mind. As he expected, the strong men from the light plane and the abyss plane were still here. The two sides did not have a pleasant conversation. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 589. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for upgrading his skills to the peak level of 9 stars. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for upgrading his bloodline to the peak level of 9 stars. Another 2 rewards at the peak level of 9 stars. Ye Chen estimated that it might be because the strongest person in the abyss plane is only at the peak level of 9 stars, and the strongest person nearby is also only at the peak level of 9 stars, so at present, he can only get the best rewards at the peak level of 9 stars here. The previous sign-ins were basically suitable for Enlan and others, but I didn't expect that this time they were all suitable for me. Ye Chen said in his heart. With the strengthening of skills and bloodline, his strength can be more or less improved. By then, his strength will not be much weaker than that of Emperor Lei Yuan. System, strengthen skills and bloodline. Ye Chen said in his mind. He temporarily increased the time acceleration of the time tower to 1,000,000,000 times. This way, the strengthening can be completed in a shorter time. In the Skeleton City, the strong men of the abyss plane and the light plane are still negotiating. The progress is not smooth. Emperor Lei Yuan and his men asked the strong men of the light plane to release Ma Hun Tianzun and his men, but the strong men of the light plane did not capture Ma Hun Tianzun and his men, so how could they release them? In this case, Emperor Lei Yuan and his men did not release the strong men of the light plane they captured. The two sides were on the verge of a fight. In terms of strength, of course the light plane is stronger, but if the war potential is fully erupted, the strength of the abyss plane will increase a lot in a short time. The light plane and the abyss plane are in fierce confrontation, and even if they win, the loss may be relatively large. The light plane may be surpassed by the strong men of other planes. A few days later, Ye Chen's skills and bloodline were strengthened. After the skills were strengthened, Ye Chen's strength would not increase much in a short period of time, but the increase brought by the bloodline being upgraded to the peak level of 9 stars was not low. Let's not fight with Emperor Lei Yuan and his men now. Send Enlan and the others back first, and take Hanjian over first. Ye Chen said in his heart. Enlangxiu and the others had reached the initial stage of the 8-star cultivation, and the speed of improvement had slowed down a lot, and they had already adapted to the environment of the abyss plane. The combat power of Enlangxiu and the others, the weak ones had reached the peak level of the 8-star, the strong ones had reached the perfection of the 8-star, and could even reach the 9-star level in the case of an explosion. They could already guard the red flame plane when they returned. Condensing his aura, Ye Chen arrived outside the Brahma ring, and he left quietly. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others did not notice. Ye Chen's current strength was not much weaker than Emperor Lei Yuan, and he also had a treasure like the Brahma ring that could restrain his aura. 2 or 3 months later, Ye Chen returned to the red flame plane. They had been away for a total of 12 years, and the red flame plane was still relatively peaceful. Some strong men entered the red flame plane, but none of them left the red flame plane. This situation scared many other strong men who wanted to enter the red flame plane. Lan, you guard the red flame plane. Don't be polite to the strong who enter the red flame plane. Kill those who should be killed, and catch those who should be caught. Ye Chen urged. Enlangxiu and the others nodded. They didn't spend much time on the red flame plane. It took 2 or 3 months for Ye Chen to take Luo Hongjian to the abyss plane again. It is worth mentioning that Luo Hongjian's cultivation is still at the 7-star perfection level. Originally, her cultivation was higher than that of Enlangxiu and the others. In the past 12 years, Enlangxiu and the others enjoyed a time acceleration of 100 million times, as well as various elixirs. When Luo Hongjian was practicing, the time acceleration was only 10 million times. The environment of the red flame plane is also much worse. In summary, Luo Hongjian's cultivation in the past 12 years was 20 times slower than that of Enlangxiu and the others. Abyss Plane, Thunder City. Ye Chen arrived here. This time he did not go to the Skeleton City, where a large number of strong men including Emperor Lei Yuan were. When entering Thunder City, Ye Chen was also questioned and tested. Indeed, he really only had 8-star perfect cultivation, so he was able to enter Thunder City. Now, during the special period, Thunder City is checking very strictly. Even the strong men with 9-star perfect cultivation cannot enter Thunder City. Boom! Boom! It wasn't long after Ye Chen entered Thunder City that 2 strong men appeared beside him, and they all burst out with the aura of the primary 9-star. The 2 strong men who appeared beside Ye Chen only had 8-star perfect cultivation, but they had special treasures to increase their strength. They had the strength of the initial 9-star in Thunder City. 2 Taoist friends, do you need to check again? Ye Chen asked. One of the 2 strong men who appeared beside Ye Chen said, special rules are implemented during special periods. The 8-star strong men who come here will enter our space treasures first. The city lord will check it personally at that time. Other strong men had already checked when entering the city. They were sure that Ye Chen only had 8-star perfect cultivation, and they were not afraid of Ye Chen's resistance when 2 people came. But how could they know that Ye Chen was very different from ordinary 8-star perfect strong men? His skills, bloodline, and physique are all at the peak level of 9 stars, and he also possesses the 4 swords of Xuanhuan, which are at the late 9 stars. His combat power has reached the peak of 9 stars. Xuanhuan Immortal City also has the strength of the late 9 stars. Ye Chen has just arrived here and has not yet adapted, and Xiao Lu does not have the strength of the late 9 stars yet. System, summon the one on the left. Summon him to Xuanhuan Immortal City. Ye Chen said in his mind. Yes, host. The system responded. The next second, the system's summoning power exploded. Ye Chen's 9-star peak strength, the system is also stronger, summoning only 9-star early strongmen will not have any problems. Instantly, the strongman on Ye Chen's left disappeared. The strongman on the right was horrified, he did not make a move, and chose to escape at the first time. However, Ye Chen had already set up the Xuanhuan sword formation. Come out. The strongman of Thunder City instantly let many other strongmen in his space treasure go out, and at the same time he used forbidden techniques to increase his strength to the middle stage of 9 stars. Boom! Before the strongmen of Thunder City attacked the Xuxian sword formation, Ye Chen's 9-star peak level momentum exploded, and the aura of Xuanhuan Immortal City 9-star late stage exploded. Ye Chen's faint voice rang out, "If you don't want to die, and don't want the light plane and the abyss plane to fight, you'd better surrender obediently." How could it be? The strongmen of Thunder City were terrified. There was actually a 9-star peak strongman and a 9-star late strongman coming. They haven't been detected yet. If they had been detected before entering the city, even if there were 2 more strongmen of this level, they would have the confidence to stop them outside Thunder City. "Senior, if you arrest our Thunder City people again, it will be a great provocation to our Thunder City," the strong man who used the forbidden technique said with an ugly face. With the strength shown by Ye Chen and his men, it would be difficult for them to kill their way out of the formation. If a bloody battle breaks out, Thunder City will face a huge disaster. Ye Chen said coldly, "We in the light plane don't want to go to war with you in the abyss plane, but if you choose to be tough to the end, you will bear the consequences. I will give you 10 breaths to imprison your cultivation, otherwise you will die." After carefully weighing each other's strength, the strong men in Thunder City secretly discussed and chose to surrender helplessly. They imprisoned their own cultivation. "Collect." Ye Chen quickly received them in Xuanhuan Immortal City. A smile appeared on his face. The guy who reached the middle stage of the 9th star after using the forbidden technique was the son of Emperor Lei Yuan. The first strong man he summoned to Xuanhuan Immortal City was the disciple of Emperor Lei Yuan. They were all highly valued by Emperor Lei Yuan. Otherwise, they would not have the strength of the early stage of the 9th star in Thunder City. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 590. Listen, all the powerful men in Thunder City. Some of you in Thunder City have been captured by me. Please tell Emperor Lei Yuan whether you should bow your head or bow your head. If he doesn't bow his head, it's your abyssal plane that will suffer in the end. Ye Chen's voice echoed throughout Thunder City. After saying that, he quickly left. Many powerful people in Thunder City quickly gathered together, and they soon knew what happened. Dragon Supreme and the others were captured. How could this happen? The Heavenly Dragon Supreme and the Blood Sea Demon Lord are both 8-star perfectionists. They have the strength of the 9-star early stage in Thunder City. He must be a strong man from the light plane, and his strength will not be lower than the late 9-star stage. I see that he has the strength of the peak 9 stars. The latter stage of the 9 stars should not be able to sneak in silently. All the powerful people in Thunder City were talking about it. They have strong people with communication systems, and they immediately spread the news here. In Skeleton City, Emperor Lei Yuan immediately received the news. Crack! Emperor Lei Yuan slapped the table on the table with great anger. The solid table was shattered by his slap. Okay, very good. Since you from the plane of light have done this, I see no need to negotiate. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a cold voice. As he spoke, powerful power poured into his space treasure. In an instant, many strong men in the light plane who were imprisoned in his space treasure were turned into charcoal. If you from the light plane want to fight, we will fight to the end. We in the abyss are not vegetarians. Emperor Lei Yuan said with murderous intent. He threw out the charred corpses as he spoke. You! Emperor Lei Yuan, you are crazy. Lai Yangtianzun and the others were furious. The negotiations are now at a deadlock, but while they are still negotiating, Emperor Lei Yuan actually kills their people directly. Emperor Lei Yuan said coldly, you still pretend not to know? It's not just you who came from the light plane, there are other powerful people. They sneaked into my Thunder City to arrest people. My son Tianlong and my disciple Blood Sea Demon Lord were all taken away. In this case, is there still a need to talk? Emperor Lei Yuan and other powerful men in the Abyss Plane were extremely angry. Emperor Lei Yuan is the strongest person in the Abyss Plane, and Thunder City is his territory. He sneaked into Thunder City and captured Tianlong Supreme and the others. This is a great provocation. The 9-star peak powerhouse who came from the light plane was the Holy Word Supreme. He frowned and said, "Fellow Daoist Lei Yuan, is there any misunderstanding here? We are the only ones coming from the plane of light. We're all here now. Could it be that the rest of your enemies in the Abyss Plane took the opportunity to act?" Emperor Lei Yuan said coldly, "Is the other party crazy? To directly deal with our Abyssal Plane, it is simply to offend our Abyssal Plane. Doing this will offend your plane of light." Lai Tianzun suddenly said, "It's not like there are no strong people who would do this. The remnants of the Yanhuang Plane. Normally, strong men from other planes would not do this, but if the one who takes action is a remnant from the Yanhuang Plane, they may deliberately intensify the conflict between us." When Lai Tianzun said these words, Lei Yuan Emperor and the others became less angry. It's not impossible. But the greater possibility is that strong people from the light plane are causing trouble. Lai Tianzun said this, just because he didn't want to talk directly. Although there are a few powerful people who have escaped from the Yanhuang plane, the possibility of them being that strong is low. And since they haven't taken action for so long, why should they take the lead? Does the Yanhuang plane still want to be restored? Emperor Lei Yuan said coldly. "I will give you the last 3 years to think about it. You can go back and discuss with the other strong men in the light plane. You can release them or prepare for a plane war. Let's go." Emperor Lei Yuan left angrily with the rest of the powerful men from the Abyss Plane. Holy Word Supreme and the others frowned. Emperor Lei Yuan said such harsh words, and his attitude can be said to be extremely tough. After being silent for a while, the Holy Word Supreme said in a deep voice, "Everyone try to persuade the powerful people in the Abyss Plane to let them know the consequences of the plane war. Let them persuade Emperor Lei Yuan to calm down. In the plane war, although we in the light plane will definitely be invincible, we will also pay a heavy price." Lai Tianzun and the others nodded. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others were annoyed, and they were equally annoyed. You can tell many forces that this matter is probably caused by the remnants of the Yanhuang plane. From the perspective of the Holy Word Supreme and others, they felt that it was much more likely that a strong person would cause trouble. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that there are strong people coming quietly from the light plane. The interior of the plane of light is not monolithic either. Yes. Lai Supreme and the others said in unison. They acted quickly. The remnants of the Yanhuang plane. Ye Chen's eyes flickered. He was indeed from the Yanhuang plane in his previous life. But he is not a strong man left over from the Yanhuang plane. The Supreme Xianqing is the one. It is worth mentioning that Xianqing Supreme is now in July universe, and his strength has increased a lot. Now the cultivation base has reached 6-star perfection. For him, it's pretty good to be able to achieve such a level of cultivation. Ye Chen gave him a good treasure, and Xianqing Supreme's combat power reached the late 7-star level. In the July universe, his strength can be increased by 7 times. Reached the 8-star perfection. Ye Chen actually talked to Xianqing Supreme about whether to bring him to the Abyss Plane, so that he could be given more resources and his strength could be improved more. Xianqing Supreme refused. He knew that it would consume a lot of Ye Chen's resources. Luo Hongjian and the others were more talented, and the same resources would have a better effect on Luo Hongjian and the others. Moreover, he knew that if he went to the Abyss Plane, he would be nothing. Here his strength cannot be increased by 7 times, what can the strength of the late 7 stars do? In the July universe, his 8-star perfection strength is still of great value. En Langxiu and the others will not be in the July universe all the time, they need to be dispersed to guard the entire Xian plane. In the July universe, Xianqing Supreme, Xixiao Palace Master and others are guarding. Since it is said to be the remnants of the Yanhuang Plain, it is better to do something. Ye Chen's eyes flashed. Some strong men in the Abyss Plain must have the plain token fragments of the Yanhuang Plain. He captured the strong men such as Tianlong Supreme, and it is entirely possible to trade for plain fragments from the strong men such as Liwen Emperor. As soon as the strong men in the Bright Plain spread such news, a strong man soon proposed such a deal. It would be strange if Liwen Emperor did not doubt Shenjun Supreme and the others. Tianlong Supreme, you can send a message to your father. If he takes out 2 fragments of the plain token of the Yanhuang Plain, he can exchange you and Sui Hai Demon Lord back. Ye Chen came to Tianlong Supreme and said in a calm voice. He said that Tianlong Supreme's strength recovered. Tianlong Supreme looked at Ye Chen deeply. He did not make a move, nor did he escape. Ye Chen's strength was much stronger than his. He knew that there was absolutely no possibility of him escaping. Father, we were captured by 2 strong men. One is at the peak of 9 stars, and the other is at the late 9 stars. Just now they proposed that they could use 2 plain fragments of the Yanhuang Plain to exchange me and brother Sui Hai back. The Supreme Dragon sent a message. He was not close to Thunder City, but the Supreme Dragon was strong enough to send a message back. Humph. In Thunder City, Emperor Lei Yuan's eyes flashed with brilliance, and his face was gloomy. Tianlong, can you confirm the identity of the other party? Father, I can't be sure. The other party may be a strong man in the dark of the light plane. Emperor Lei Yuan quickly communicated with Supreme Dragon. Brother Lei Yuan, the Yanhuang Plain has completely declined, and the plain fragments of the Yanhuang Plain are not particularly valuable. The other party should be someone from the light plane. This is just a way to save face. As soon as Emperor Lei Yuan said this, another strong man spoke up. Emperor Lei Yuan nodded slightly. Everyone, do you have a plain fragment of the Yanhuang Plain? If you do, take it out. Soon, a strong man took out a plain fragment, and Emperor Lei Yuan himself had another one.